Dive into the chaos, here we go. Social media lunacy steals the show. Crazy sin just means wrapped up tight. Scroll through the madness every night.
Okay, today we are going to be doing something I never thought that we would do. We are going back to Chris Chan. I have Futon here, and we are going to be doing the one Chris Chan video that I promised I would do.
Do you realize something? Well, let me tell you
I miss Bob.
about Chris Chan's fake baby.
I miss Bob. Bob would prevent all of this. So, the thing that I decided to cover is Chris Chan, people thought that he was going to be having a baby. And one thing I'm saying ahead of time, if you have not watched my old content, I have explained over and over again, I even had a giant debate with Ben Saint about it years ago. I do not respect Chris Chan's gender. Chris Chan is not someone who just transitioned. He thinks that he's a magical ghost from the 1970s who got transported into the body of a half Sonichu, half human hybrid Cherokean abomination. And he thinks that he is also the reincarnation of a video game console and Jesus Christ. Respecting Chris Chan's gender is an insult to everyone who actually has gender dysphoria. Most trans people disown Chris. So Chris is Chris, and I'm gonna call him him. Get over it. But the thing that we're gonna be talking about is recently people, because they're desperate for Chris Chan content, tried to say that Chris Chan was having a baby. Because Chris Chan on a live stream said, when the child is actually coming into play for summer, or I might just keep y'all in the dark until after the child is born. People all of a sudden freaked out about this, and I'll go into depth to who the mom would be and everything in a second. But I wanted to clarify that I did not think that this was real. I did not think Chris would have a baby, and I was right, because Chris Chan would clarify a few days later, okay, all of this is starting to get out of control. There is no pregnancy. I was speaking hypothetically in a live stream. I am so surprised how even when I say something is hypothetical it gets misunderstood. Thank you for your kindness. I reiterate, there is no pregnancy with anyone. So, it's not happening at all.
That's such a hallmark for all cows, is they put out the same thing and they're continually surprised by getting the same reaction back from their audience.
Yeah, that is a consistent with them. So first of all, I'm going to say, how did we get here? Ever since Chris Chan got out of jail, he has been seeing this girl who we don't know her real name. What are people nicknaming her again? I forget.
Well, the name she goes by is Fluttershy. She's from Finland. I call her the Cabbage Patch Kid.
Yeah, Cabbage Patch Kid is what people are going by. People are calling her Cabbage Patch Kid. She goes by Flutter. No one really knows her name. This woman was seen around Chris for a bit when he got out of jail, and people thought that this might have been a Praetor-appointed girlfriend, because the Praetors are basically the group of trolls / weens who have control over Chris and his finances right now. They got him a house, they got him a streaming setup. They're basically the reason why Chris has money right now. People thought that they gave him a fake girlfriend so that he would be distracted and not get caught up with trolling again. But I had noticed for a while that that girl wasn't always around. She would only be there every now and again. And when she was there, they did spend a lot of time with each other. So I was wondering what was going on with that. I never really heard her speak or do anything. So I thought that there was something up with her. Well, it turns out recently Chris flew to Europe to spend time with her because she is not American. I think she's Finnish. Is that what it is? Finland?
Mm-hmm.
She is Finnish. She is Finnish, and I don't even know if she speaks proper English. So I'm starting to think that this relationship is actually real somehow, and that Chris-chan and her are a thing, even though Chris insists that they are not dating and that they are just friends and that there is nothing going on between the two of them. I don't think that you fly to a different country and have someone fly to your country over and over again and go on dates for friendship. I don't think that's how that works. I could be wrong, though.
Well, I don't believe that there's any proof that something weird is going on. It's just that nothing adds up, where she appeared out of nowhere. She wasn't mentioned in the jailhouse letters at all, even though they were saying that they got in contact while Chris was in jail, which doesn't make any sense because we know about it. There are all these power struggles over who was and who wasn't allowed to get mail in and out for Chris.
She could have been doing phone calls.
That'd be public record still.
Yeah, but would we have access to that? Would we have access to the calls?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I don't know how she contacted him then.
And when we do see them together, because normally when there's pictures of Chris out in the wild, it looks like a Bigfoot shot. But whenever Flutter is with him, you get very, very close, tight shots of the two of them together.
Yeah, and they always keep her face out of frame. They always keep her face out of frame as much as they can. We do have pictures of her face. People have gotten a good look at her face. She's nothing to write home about. She's just a normal girl. But for a while, no one knew what she looked like, and no one could identify her at all.
Yeah, it's pretty clear that was meant to, push the conversation, but, it's impossible to say whether that was coming from within the Praetors or whether that was coming from Chris.
Yeah. So...
Or from Flutter.
Now, since we've established Flutter and we established that this didn't happen, I'm going to talk about why it's good that it didn't happen and why it most likely will never happen. So first of all, why it's good that it didn't happen is Chris has been shown for years to not be able to take care of his pets, not being able to take care of his family members, not being able to handle any type of responsibility. Chris-chan could not take care of this child at all. And Chris-chan's prior writings indicate that he would have the girl do all of the work and take care of him. So it would be a complete nightmare for her and a complete nightmare for the child just on that front. But then we have to take into account the fact that Chris-chan allegedly had sex with his own mother who had dementia. If he's willing to take advantage of a family member who can't fight back, who's to say that he wouldn't do something with a child? I am not willing to take any niceness for Chris or any considerations for Chris because it was the ultimate betrayal that he would do that to his mom, and no one should be shocked at any horrific thing that he does in the near future. I don't think he would just stick the line at having sex with an old lady. I think that there is no limit that he would go to get China, and the fact that Chris-chan wants a daughter is always terrifying. And I am honestly glad that he didn't have the kid just for that alone. How do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, you don't like the justification that is just like the impregnation of the Theotokos?
Well, he was on record years ago saying that it's okay for parent-child incest as long as there's no chance of pregnancy. Like, he's on record of that. That's something he legitimately said and defended.
Well, not to drag poor old Phil into it, but DSP says that the only reason to not do incest is because you should only be with someone you didn't grow up with.
Okay, but I think that
but yeah, with having a kid, yeah, there's no way that Chris would be able to care for a child. That's pretty obvious.
At best case situation, he'd be negligent. Worst case situation, he'd be abusive. Now let's get into why it almost definitely won't happen. So the reason why it almost definitely won't happen is because, one, Chris Chan already waited past his prime to start trying to have a child. And I know that
so did his parents.
Yeah, I know that his dad conceived him at an older age. But we have to take into account that Chris Chan is extremely unhealthy, and he has mutilated and modified his body in God knows how many different ways. Getting on hormone treatment therapy can already condition your body to become sterile, but Chris Chan has also done God knows what else to his body to try to transform him into being a woman. The odds of Chris Chan actually being able to conceive a child at this point are not very likely, just because of his health, his diet, and the amount of chemicals that he has pumped into his body during his trans arc. I really don't think it's likely that he'll be able to conceive a child ever at this point.
Well, let's say Flutter's ultimate motivation is to get married to Chris. So if she said that she was pregnant, would Chris believe her?
I mean, he would, because he's gullible, but there would have to be a kid at some point, so she'd have to get knocked up by someone else. And Chris would be dumb enough to just believe that, even if the baby came out a different race. He's stupid. He'd be like, I guess I was Cherokean after all.
So are you rooting for the marriage or against? Just for what the ceremony would be like.
I honestly don't wish anything nice of Chris. Like, I used to be supportive of Chris, and I used to be associating with Chris. But there's a reason why I don't do Chris content anymore. If I did Chris content, I'd be an A-log. Because I want nothing nice from Chris. I don't want Chris to have a comfortable, happy life. Chris did something unspeakably terrible, and he should never be forgiven for it. Like, for the longest time, people were A-logging Chris because he said homophobic stuff or he harassed women. This is the one legitimate time to vehemently hate this guy and never forgive him. And I think I made that clear years ago that the people who I cover on my show, it's for fun, it's for memes. I legitimately dislike Chris. So that's why you won't be getting Chris videos anymore, because my malice and my dislike of him would come out in every video. I don't want Chris to have a family. I don't want Chris to have a wife. I don't think Chris should have anything, because Chris will abuse everyone and everything close to him. I don't think Chris should even have a pet, let alone a child or a wife to take care of.
Yeah, there's people who would say, he shouldn't have a pet long before they should say that someone's allowed to be married but not have a pet. Yeah, people get kind of screwed there. But yeah, there's a difference between not wanting something good to happen for someone and actively trying to cause them harm.
Yeah,
but,
true.
It's like, but with like the original A-Log, like, he actually didn't try to do anything, did he? He just said that
he just used Chris to build himself up. But the thing is like, the English language doesn't work that way, and the term A-Log has taken on a meaning of its own, and it no longer is just Anthony Legato. Most people don't even know that the term started with Anthony Legato and Chris Chan. At this point, A-Logging is obsessing over someone and constantly trying to find ways to take them down. Like, that's basically what the modern version of A-Log means. And I know people disagree with me in the comments section, but to me it seems like it's someone who you have a personal attachment to and you want to troll on them just to knock them down. Like, that seems to be the modern iteration of A-log, when before, A-logging was that you're insecure and you're only trolling this person to make yourself feel better. That was the original A-logging.
Yeah, for me, it's when you go over to like active harm. But the only thing that I
That's weaning.
remember from Anthony was saying that Chris was worse than Saddam Hussein.
Yeah, A-logging
that's
is
the
like...
most I remember from him.
A-logging is to where you're like, well, I may be bad for this, but at least I'm not insert lolcow here. You're literally just obsessing over a lolcow to make yourself feel better about your own life. That's A-logging. But A-logging has changed and the terminology has changed. But let's get back to the subject though. I don't like Chris anymore. I used to cover Chris because I genuinely liked the guy. But Chris Chan died when he did that to his mom. And Chris Chan A-logging and trolling and weaning is dead. Like, we are in the Shadow Realm afterlife graveyard zone of Christery. It's done. The Geno doc is over. Everything is done. I think the final thoughts of this is, be glad that Chris Chan didn't have a child, and pray that he doesn't try to conceive a child again, because that would be the true omen of the end times, when Chris Chan conceives a child. I think this is a good point to end it. If you guys liked this video, hit the like button. If you guys really like it, share it around. And if you guys want to see more, then subscribe. We do one of these general discussions, the social media lunacies, a week. And I am starting to upload the Sonic Insanities once a week. We're gonna slowly get back into the swing of things, so if you guys are liking this content, be sure to tell me in the comments section down below. Thank you guys for watching, and bye.
Peace and love to the trolls, hate to everyone else.
Look at